Well, it's a very good morning to you, obvious listeners. Join us live on Zima. If you can hear the sound of my voice, there, let me know where you're logging it from. Just going to try and put a microphone on here. Just let me know, please, if you can hear the voice of my projection. Just going to try and get me send into the screen and the sound. Okay, so I have my sound in there. Please let me know. Just type in the comment box. Type in the comment box there if you can now hear me. Type in the comment box if you can now hear me. Right, okay, thank you very much. Bongani, I need you to just type something else again. Type something else. Just let me know if it's the sound is continuing because I'm not too sure if I'm perfect. Just getting my sound in and just ensuring that my very short broadcast this early this morning is heard. Bongani, could you please say something else? Okay, so quickly, obviously, it's early morning, Monday. Today it is just after 20. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bongani. Thank you, Bongani. So it is after 20. It's 21 past midday today in Harare. I don't know what time it is over there where you are, and over here it is literally 10:21 a.m. Please, as you're coming in, type it in there and let me know if you can just say, I'm in Harare or I'm in Kwabulawayo, I'm in Gweru, Sisi Gweru, loud and clear. Type it in the comment box right there. Got a short, very, very important broadcast that I want to bring in. Today I'm doing this broadcast from inside a budget hotel called Premier Inn. How many people remember a a blasting development that happened last year in September, on the 28th of September? It was inside these premises. As you can see, this is where I've gone back, Dokwandat Zoka, and I've come here to just update our viewers and listeners because something really big has happened, and our people need to know. And these developments around the investigative work that this news network does over the years, where we have dedicated our resources to bringing news that we feel that our people can benefit, and particularly here, where larger groups of people of citizens are affected by something. To us, we then find it to be news. So it's important in the next 3 minutes to hear me. I'm not going to stretch today. Today, I'm not stretching. That's a disagree stretcher. Why? Because there's no need for me to do so. I, and at the same time, I'm overwhelmed by what has happened, which is huge. And I'm also cognizant of the resources that people complain that they need to just hear vanoda kungonzwa quickly wobva. Okay, so I'm inside Premier Inn premises here. Okay. Okay, so can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So all eyes today on Constantino Chiwenga this week, as Constantino Chiwenga is expected to take over the baton stick of the presidency. All eyes on him today, and Constantino Chiwenga is he is the deputy to Emerson Mnangagwa. What's been happening is that Mnangagwa is on annual leave, or should be on annual leave, and Kembo Mohadi, the other deputy, the other vice president, has been acting, or should have been acting. So at this time, this week, and should be today, Constantino Chiwenga should be starting work. Anuvana utanga basa nasi. And just as I say this, Zimbabweans, I was checking on all the government portals. I could not see any mention of Chiwenga. I can authoritatively report that there is a large grouping of of Chiwenga loyalists and also disgruntled ZANU-PF members who are calling for Emerson Mnangagwa to step aside, and who are also dismissing the ongoing motion that has been tabled to extend the tenure, the life of parliament and of the presidency into 2030 and beyond. And so I think what I'm talking about here, people know what it is. Vanhu muri kuziva kuti chii chaizvo chaizvo Emerson Mnangagwa has been asked by some ZANU-PF members that he should extend his presidency into 2030 and beyond, and that the current tenure or the current term of parliament must be extended beyond 2028. And it is said that the reason is to effect the programs, the development projects that Emerson Mnangagwa has put in place. So they are saying he must be given an opportunity to implement these strategies or these programs. At the time, however, a group of ZANU-PF members, a very large one, have begun congregating to denounce this 2030 agenda, and they have gone beyond merely denouncing the 2030 agenda to calling for Emerson Mnangagwa to be removed. They have planned to demonstrate at the end of March. So end of March 2025, they intend to march. I need to get the exact date. I think it's 30 or 31 March. I need to get it. I'm hoping that we can get that grouping, one or two people who can come and speak here. It is official. It's no longer rumor. It is no longer social media talk like Emerson Mnangagwa tried to portray it recently in a Politburo meeting, that ZANU-PF members are merely talking party issues on social media. It is now real. It is now alive. It is now physical. There are meetings that are being held as I speak, as I type. If you go on Zima, you will see these updates that we are giving our viewers, readers, and listeners every day of the ongoing discussions, the ongoing moves to not only contest or stop Emerson Mnangagwa's 2030 agenda, but to, in fact, even remove him. So, just as I report, today is the 20th of January. Emerson Mnangagwa is supposed, Constantino Chiwenga is supposed to be taking over as acting president. And we're struggling to see any formal announcement by government, as is usually done when Kembo Mohadi was taking over as acting president a few weeks ago. It was officially announced that Kembo Mohadi is now the acting president. Now with Constantino Chiwenga, there is no official announcement. Now, if you have seen one, please let us know. The moderate itself, because this is not owner. Not owner. Kana pa inaiona. Um, yeah. I want to touch the other stories, the other news stories before commenting on this development because I need to give my own news analysis of the development. Do you folks want me to go into the news stories and then I'll come back to the Chiwenga, or you just want me to do my news analysis? I'm being tempted here to drop my news analysis. What do you want, folks? Type it in the comment box. What do you want? Ndoenda kunotaura nezvenews ndozodzoka ndozokomenta panyaya yana Chiwenga. As far as I know, a lot of Zimbabweans want to hear. They want to hear what is my own interpretation. Many people ask me, Simba, we have heard what you have reported, but give us, what do you think this means? Toda kunzwa kuti iwe unoti chi, tazvinzwa zvaripotwa, but iwe unoti chi. Anopinda here Chiwenga apapo. Vanopinda here mass supporters Chiwenga. Okay, I think Bongani Ngwenya is saying, look, Simba, let's hear analysis, please. Okay, you want to hear my analysis? Okay. The biggest question, and please, if I stretch beyond 2 minutes, please, can someone alert me that I'm not talking too much? Because I think we can easily veer off when we're talking about the Chiwenga issue. Okay, I know people are typing there. Please tell us your thoughts. Okay, yeah, but please, can I talk only for 2 minutes? So can I finish at 33? Please, 33, can someone ring the bell and say to me, Simba, stop, shut up. Let's move to the next topic. Okay, right, because, yeah, Jaka wonders that there's so many things that we could talk about when we start on Chiwenga. So I will quickly dash in. Chiwenga issues. Does Chiwenga have capacity? Number one, does the grouping that is backing Chiwenga have capacity to stop the 2030 agenda and to stop Emerson Mnangagwa all in all this year? I think that's what people want to hear. Hi, Julius. Good morning. I know Julius Makechemu has just joined in. Julius, good morning. Good morning, Simba. How are you? I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sure you're one of those people you want to hear my analysis, right? Okay. Right. So quickly. Right. So here's Simba CHIKANZA'S analysis. There's yeah. There's a huge difference between Emerson Mnangagwa and Constantino Chiwenga. Chiwenga is rooted in real power, real physical weaponry, military weaponry. And that makes him way more powerful than Emerson Mnangagwa. His supporters are also rooted in not only military weaponry, but the traditional war veterans, the traditional liberation struggle grouping, floors or follows Chiwenga. They see Chiwenga as their figurehead. the traditional ZANU-PF leadership here, the emotional and the moral grouping, which is the larger grouping inside ZANU-PF, comprising of from the youngest right to the oldest, they are also backing Chiwenga. And that makes Chiwenga even more powerful when we come into the actual physical power. And there is also the legitimacy when it comes to leadership lineup. Chiwenga falls well under the force and the might that any leader, any national leader should take over. When we're now talking about capacity, here is the difference. Here's my analysis. This is not Sim I analysis. Please stop it comparing Simba Chikanza or pairing Simba Chikanza with Simai. Simba Chikanza and Simai are two different people. Simba Chikanza is just a human being. He's a yes, he's an investigator, he investigates news and the like, but he is not Zimai. Zimai is a news network that is run by a group of people. And Simba Chikanza might be one of them, but don't mix my analysis with Zimai. And when you're typing your comments there, don't you dare ever say this was Zimai analysis. This is just the analysis of Simba Chikanza. Yeah, so quickly. Chiwenga has... sorry, Julius, I think there's noise in your background there. Simba analysis. No, answer that, Julius. I haven't finished. Just mute, please. Okay. Ansanda Tombotanga. Ansanda Tombotanga. Yeah, just mute. Okay. So I was making an introduction there. Does Chiwenga have capacity? Just mute, please, if you can. Right. So yeah, mute your microphone. Okay. So does Chiwenga how different is Chiwenga from Mnangagwa? Chiwenga is rooted in power, in real military weaponry and traditional support as well of ZANU-PF. The difference between him and Mnangagwa is rooted in the intelligence side of things, which weaves in to the physical weaponry. But in terms of planning, here is a difference between Chiwenga and Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is a planner. And Mnangagwa's leadership of ZANU-PF is not a result of present-day disgruntlements by people. It's a result of strategic planning by the Rhodesia CIO, the Rhodesia Special Branch, back in 1974, 1975. Rhodesia planned to run this country for another 1,000 years. And Mnangagwa falls into that plan. This is real strategic planning. And it sets Mnangagwa apart from Chiwenga. In as much as people could clamor and they could talk about removing Mnangagwa, they need to evaluate what assets when it comes to intelligence and planning and strategic planning they have above Mnangagwa. Because if you're going to go against Mnangagwa, you need to understand that you're dealing with someone who is deeply rooted in the foundations of the government armory of this country into the colonial era as early as 1974-75, when the Rhodesia CIO decided to release Emerson Mnangagwa into Zambia, into the Liberation Front, so he could pose as if he is a war veteran when he was just an intelligence operative. But not just that, a highly skilled intelligence operative. This is what makes Mnangagwa different. And in 2017, if we are going to understand the difference between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga, Chiwenga was given an opportunity by the former president to take over Zimbabwe. And he had no clue while he was literally running this country as a pseudo prime minister, or excuse me, pseudo president of this country from the 15th of November 2017. For several days, he refused to run this country and chose to hand over to a Rhodesia mercenary who is an intelligence operative of Ian Smith and a chunk of the British intelligence. And you are listening to this commentary from someone who has had physical meetings with the British intelligence handlers of Emerson Mnangagwa, someone who has enjoyed years of sitting down, having meals with these individuals who planned over 1,000 years of running this country, way ahead of anyone, young and old, in ZANU-PF. Anyone who thinks or even imagines that they can go against Mnangagwa needs to first understand how deeply rooted Mnangagwa is in his intelligence machinery. They need themselves to be an intelligence operation before they even think of firing a bullet or even hiring a forced security guard, a single forced security guard to their operation. They need themselves to be an intelligence operation, not an anger one. The reason why Zimbabweans are struggling is because they have been executing emotional, emotion rooted operations of change of power. They don't work. You need to be bigger than emotions. You need to be bigger, to be way more strategic than someone who is just disgruntled. You need to be a highly skilled, deeply rooted intelligence operation for you to deal with someone like Emerson Mnangagwa. I'm hoping people are getting this. One of the biggest signs that Chiwenga is not ready, in my view, and that doesn't mean that he can't make it. He could still make it if he takes this advice. If he sits down and takes notes and consult people who understands the intelligence armory of Emerson Mnangagwa. His biggest weakness at present is on his failure to understand that Emerson Mnangagwa is using him to oppress his own wife in the same way that Mnangagwa has done it on so many people, including the likes of Lenmo Jongwe. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how many guns you are, if you can't deal brutally with your own thoughts in your brain before you even imagine of dealing brutally with real physical human beings, you can't deal with my thoughts, Akko, you can't control your own thought processes, then you are the weakest human being on earth. No matter how huge the army is that you control or you think you control, or how big the ZANU-PF grouping that you think you control. Before you do that, you need to control your mind, control your thoughts. And that's where Chiwenga is weak. He's not an intelligence man. He's not an intelligent man, number one. Number two, he's not an intelligence man. Two different things. Hear me, folks. I'm telling you from what I know. I've sat down with the people who made Emerson Mnangagwa who he is. Even I myself would not want to go against Mnangagwa, even today, unless I invest in intelligence. Even the years that I have spent with the Rhodesia Special Branch, hearing from them, taking notes, listening to them, consulting them, hearing them from them, how they were running the country, what in their view needs to be done if there's going to be a change of power and the like, just hearing things. Even though I've had this rich wealth of Rhodesia, southern and northern Rhodesia, I still need to do more. So if someone like me is not yet fully capacitated at an intelligence level, how much more Mr. Chiwenga? There is a lot that is needed to invest in intelligence. Power is not power until you are in control of your own thoughts. I think we've seen it, even the biggest countries of the world. Even a country like Russia, I think we've seen lately how even a country like Russia, even Vladimir Putin, has not been all powerful on many aspects because of lack of certain aspects of intelligence. So it doesn't matter how big you are. If people remember my last conversation with Auxilia Mnangagwa, I won't call her first lady. You call her first lady. She ain't first lady. She's last lady. I'll call her last lady. LL, right? LL. Auxilia Mnangagwa, right? So my last conversation with her, I highlighted this, and she didn't deny that even Putin himself, my powers, my shoma, the powers are limited. Even Putin, jaja mangwana no nangomuka, akangonzi. Yeah. So let me proceed here. This is what I didn't want. Okay. Right, so what I'm saying is, Chiwenga needs to invest in intelligence. He is poor right now. Akavata Chiwenga. Muza kuno ikuvata. Kuvata. If you are being fooled by your enemy to think that the mother of your 3 kids wants to kill you or wanted to kill you, someone who we actually saw being killed herself, she was a victim physically, not this peasy poisoning social media chat that they have brought into the courtrooms. No, physical. A bomb, a grenade exploded under her feet. People saw that physically. And you are not that intelligent to understand that your wife was actually a victim. And then Munangagwa himself is watching you and not even correcting you. He's watching you accuse your own wife, and you can't even see that it's Mnangagwa who is mechanizing all this to make you go against your own wife. In exactly the same way Mnangagwa has done it on so many people, including on Len Mojong. Then Chiwenga, you are the weakest. So in my view, if I was to be really, really truthful to this, I think people know I'm a lover of change. I promote change. I help citizens who want to change, no matter who you are. However, when it comes to Chiwenga, what he has demonstrated so far, it suggests to me that he is too weak. He's just too weak to think, too fast to think. Someone like him, in my view, is the weakest human being in the country at present. Sadly, very sadly. And I know this will really be quite disappointing to the large grouping of ZANU-PF. Many of them, they are subscribers here on Ziman. I'm sure you can understand. I'm hoping that you can understand where I'm coming from here. I'm not against what you folks want to stop Emerson Mnangagwa. Yeah, I am actually pro change. I'm pro freedom of expression and I'm pro freedom. I'm a freedomist myself. I've done freedom operations before, very successfully, such that if you folks even wanted advice, I can even show you which buttons to press, and you can get freedom. But here I can tell you, folks, you are weak. Yeah, you've got a very weak leader, Chiwenga. No matter how many soldiers will wake up tomorrow morning and they can line up tanks to drive into the capital city, Harare, Chiwenga is way too weak at present, sadly. It's not too late though. He can still pick up his socks, but I have to tell him that he's got a lot. He does have a lot of work to do, because the person that he's dealing with here is someone who even he himself promoted, unwittingly promoted an enemy since 1975. And worse, in 2017, when Robert Mugabe offered to hand over power to Chiwenga, rather, Chiwenga decided to promote this Rhodesian mercenary. And yeah, so quickly, where was I? I think this is the biggest downfall. This is the biggest challenge with Emerson, excuse me, with Constantino Chiwenga and the grouping that is anti 2030. I think right now, if I was to be given a quick advice, or requested to give a small advice, my thinking is the Chiwenga group, unlike the Chamisa group, they've got a very huge potential to take over power, because they've got the physical machinery, the army, and and they've got the traditional ZANU-PF teeth, which are institutional in the country. But they're weak in that they've got an extremely weak leader, such that until they deal with this thing, the best thing right now is to team up with the Chamisa grouping, team up with them, quit everything else, team up with the Chamisa grouping, and utilize the legal armory that are now armories that are now there in, internationally to stop Mnangagwa, because they're now there. We will remember that last week the president of Venezuela, what is his name? Is it Maduro or something? He was slapped with an arrest warrant by the United States of America. Emerson Mnangagwa right now has been he's been stopped in a large way over gold smuggling. His business partner and employee, Kamlesh Patni, was slapped with what are called Magnitsky sanctions. These are big sanctions that got nothing to do with whether you're ZANU-PF or not. These are purely sanctions relating to illicit financial operations, money laundering, and gold smuggling. And these are crimes that are even bigger than the ones that Maduro has been slapped an arrest warrant for. That and a few other facilities that are the legal facilities. I don't know if I'm going to have time to talk about them this morning. Are what the Chiwenga grouping needs to team up with the Chamisas. Just go behind Chamisa. Forget about being Chiwenga. Delete Chiwenga's name, put Chamisa there. And yeah, and the Chiwenga grouping stands a greater chance if they just totally obliterate the Chiwenga name and they just go behind the Chamisa grouping if they don't deal with the intelligence side. But even after joining the Chiwenga group, Chiwenga Chamisa grouping, the Chiwengas need to invest in intelligence. And I say the same about the Chamisa grouping. They're also weak on intelligence. They have not invested in intelligence. They've also done their part to promote scammers, people who are not genuine pursuers of democracy, and in almost the same way that the ZANU-PF has done. Yeah, so I think these two groupings, if they do come together, they need to invest in intelligence. Stop this thing here. It's dangerous. This thing of just saying, oh, so and so is with us simply because they criticize Mnangagwa. It's dangerous. That is what has made people of Zimbabwe slow down. When we go Zimbabwe, like just slow down in their pursuit for change because of blind loyalty. And this is what has created so many scammers. I think people remember 3 years ago, I highlighted the issue of Hopo Chiwono. I highlighted the issue of a few people, including Fadzai Mahere back then. And a lot of people just didn't get it. We're not getting it. And yet the detail that was there, it wasn't even intelligence data. It was actually public domain data. It showed you that some of these characters were were scammers. They were just plants of ZANU-PF. Doesn't matter how big their social media accounts are criticizing Mnangagwa. There's a young man who calls himself Joseph Kalimbwe in Zambia, and he's got this large following. Never looked at that this young man is nothing in Zambia. Some people, for over 3 years, have developed the opinion that he is a UPND party information secretary. And if we check online, we'll notice in 2021, he was actually on video calling himself a UPND information secretary. And he built a large grouping on social media calling himself a secretary of the UPND. And through that, he became very, very powerful, and people under the impression that Joseph Kalimbwe represents Hichilema. When in Zambia, Joseph Kalimbwe is actually a scammer. He's been arrested many times over scamming people. And so, and so you have these things that if these groupings are going to be serious, the same way that Mnangagwa crept into the Liberation Front in 1975, having been deployed by the Rhodesia CIO, you're going to be having these characters being planted. They're already there right now as we speak. Um, Sorry, I apologize. I think someone is trying to call me. I'm hoping that it doesn't disturb the broadcast. So, as we speak right now, there are people who have already been planted. We have Chokozani Krupe, who caused Thokozani Kupe did a lot of damage to the opposition. Participated in taking away harvest house, taking away properties, bank accounts, and the like, and using the courts as well, the Lukumalaba courts. And the opposition accommodate her back in. They take her back in. She comes back in again, and this time she has destroyed, helped to destroy again. And now you have another Thokozani Kupe in the name of Fadzai Mahere, who's popped out, and she is extremely attractive. She is extremely impressionable, and she ticks almost all the dots, and no one asks questions, basic questions. How does an opposition member win an empty defamation case. No one actually reads even the defamation file, excuse me, the defamation case itself to find out that that defamation case that she had with Emerson Mnangagwa's traditional advisor, Bettina Gapa, it was an empty defamation case. She is guilty of almost all those issues. I mean, blatantly, outwardly, factually guilty, physically, such that if she was to be tried in a real criminal case, she could even be jailed for those things. And yet people believe that, oh, because she is arrested, she successfully won against Emerson Mnangagwa. And you can't actually see that that is the trick, that Petina Gapa never apologized. She never apologized against Mahere. The document that is being said was a retraction. Just reading it, it shows there that that wasn't an apology. There was neither an apology or a retraction. That was a facilitation. Just reading a single document. This is the biggest weakness of Zimbabweans. The Zimbabweans don't read a single document. And as I end this broadcast, go to that document, go and read it. The Petina Gapa retraction, go and read it. Petina Gapa is not saying she was wrong. She's not saying what she uttered was false. Not at all. That was a facilitation to make Fadzai Mahere look clean before the gullible opposition, to prepare for her political career so that she could bounce back as another coupe, as another Tokazani coupe, and destroy the opposition. This is the basics. So what I'm saying here, the Chiwenga grouping and the Mnangagwa grouping will need to invest in intelligence. Invest, pay money, hire experts to give you advice. Just saying, oh, we don't want Mnangagwa, we hate Mnangagwa, doesn't either validate or authenticate a person. No, it doesn't. You've got to operate like a thinker, not a blinker. Thinkers stop and read, and they analyze, they take notes. They don't rush to just retweet, to sign documents. So, Chiwenga, the Chiwenga grouping, if they want to be strong right now, unless they work on the intelligence, right? It's better they just delete Chiwenga's name. Chiwenga is actually weak. He's useless. If any man beats up a wife, a woman, hear me, in no matter how much a woman is troublesome, even if a woman has been sent by someone, if you lift a hand to beat up a woman, you are the weakest human being. So the whole thing, a man who denies the mother of his kids a passport to go and get treatment, a man who is okay with his kids seeing their mother rot and lose her arms, her legs, that man is an idiot. That's a fact. If there's anything that the ZANU-PF grouping should do, is to go and, before they remove Mnangagwa, they need to go and remove Chiwenga. They need to go and capture that man and go and drop him in Wedza. Anofudza mombe ikoko. Saka kuna murume anoita zvinhu zvakapusa kudaro. He's weak. But what I was saying, there was, Zimbabweans need to invest in intelligence. And so if they fail to do this, I think the Chiwenga grouping are just useless. It's just anger, it's just noise. Go behind the Chamisa grouping. But both of you groupings, you are also weak. Mese. But I'm investing in intelligence. Makadakwa by intelligence. Ndikukuudzai because inini, I am an intelligence man. I've given you my background. And I've invested money, kwete send, for me to know things that no one else knows. And that is why I've been engaged over the years by state security of various countries. And I can tell you right now, this one is not a secret. When I was last in Zambia at the end of during elections, before the 2023 elections, I was engaged by the Zambia state security. And if anyone wants to see these documents, some people, when they see me saying this, they really don't know who Simba Chikanza is. You need to ask, and I'll show you. I think I should actually. I didn't want to do this because, this is big, but there's nothing, hapana chokubanza, hapana, right? I have been on state security intelligence operations before where I've helped several countries survive through assaults, and one of them is Zambia. So President Hichilema was about to be poisoned in August 2023. And there was a high-profile personal aide of President Hichilema's who was talking with Emerson Mnangagwa's ambassador, Hubert Angel. And I was asked by the state security in Zambia to fly to Zambia to help them to find out who this individual is. Kutindiana. I decided, I accepted the call, even though I had another project that I was running, I was investigating. I decided, look, this is first priority. So, so I flew into Zambia for that purpose. And it turned out that the other man, one of those characters, I caught his hand Kalaba, so you can see my live video there. Turned out the other person is Never Smumba, the very same individual that opposition people in Zimbabwe were celebrating, and they were saying, "Oh, Never Smumba has criticized Mnangagwa." Never Smumba never criticized Mnangagwa. Go back and see. Never Smumba actually facilitated for Mnangagwa. That was convenient criticism. Never Smumba had already made statements that empower Mnangagwa to run Zimbabwe for another 1,000 years. You need to go and find out that video. I'll give you homework. If you don't really know what this is, go and dig for another video which was more authoritative around the elections of Zimbabwe, past, present, and futuristic, around election rigging, where Never Smumba said it blatantly, issued a statement that Emerson Mnangagwa must be allowed to do anything that he wants on the people of Zimbabwe because there are sanctions. He must be allowed to rig. He must be allowed to steal money. He said it himself. The video, Ito Ripo. Never Smumba actually stated boldly that Emerson Mnangagwa must be allowed to steal money from the central bank, rig elections because there are sanctions. If you don't know this video, then you are perhaps as weak as Constantino Chiwenga. You don't want to read. That video is a public record. So the SADC thing there, it wasn't criticism. It was simply facilitating. It was convenience. It was exactly the same criticism that people like Tinashe Janasi make of Mnangagwa. It's facilitatory criticism. It's accessory criticism. And this is how Zimbabweans get duped by operatives, because they don't read between the lines. So Never Smumba, by the way, even folks, even the Zambian institutions didn't have these files. Never Smumba, beyond what I just told you, he's actually been a Mnangagwa colleague for over 30 years, since 1996, 28 years. And planning to destroy both Zambia and Zimbabwe, officially, since 1996. Both of them. Since a conference that was held in 1996 in Johannesburg. Never Smumba himself So when you listen to the interview, when I then confronted him on the 28th of August, 2023, you hear him acknowledging, because I then reminded him of these issues. So, folks, yeah, I'm hoping through all this, I can talk and talk, that people understand when they are asking for change, when they are saying, we want change, that they and you understand that you've got a lot to do other than just saying, Mnangagwa must go, ZANU-PF must go, JJJJ must go. Aiwaga. You need to invest. You need to invest in intelligence machinery, not invest in emotional machinery, where you judge people simply because they are emotional or simply because they're screaming. Then you say, this person is ours. They I do you. They I do you. Right. If you haven't done this, you know what it means? Let me tell you what it means. The day you want to do a coup, for instance, or even just a demonstration, Munangagwa will know it while you're still in the bathroom, while you're still in the toilet, brushing your teeth. He will know it. Because intelligence yakatiti. Hear me. As I said before, you're hearing all this from someone we've enjoyed years with the team that trained Mnangagwa, Peter, my intelligence operations since the 1960s, 1970s. So I've tell this quickly. Let me run through a few news bits here. Um, Someone has just said that Denison Clover, yeah. Wanga Gleda. Wanga Gleda. Wang Ke Lapa. Yeah, Wang Ke Lapa. I don't know what that means. What he's saying that is invest in intelligence machinery, not emotional machinery. Yeah. What else? My emotions will not far. When I know where I should go what you want to hear, and then they'll destroy you. They take all your secrets. And then tomorrow you wake up on another side of the bed and there's been no change at all. You've just simply been used. You're played on. Your emotions were played on. Oh, this is what I do. And this is the nature of my work. This is the nature of my investigative journalism. I've invested a lot of money. And the reason why I do this, I understand, being one of the other of a group that was once pastored by or led by Strive Masio in 1998, who was called ACBF, a Christian grouping in Harare back then. So myself and Strive Masio come from that grouping, who have invested in journalism. Strive has invested and then he runs away, comes out. I invested and I decided to practice. Like, I've got to do this, for my people. So, yeah. So, what I've done is yeah, to get into what really hardcore journalism is. So not just to put in money, but to kutoita chinhu chachona izvozvo zvachona izvozvo kutozviita kutodzikisa midzi. Because my passion is to help our community improve and make our community better. And that is how I was given birth, was to be an eye, to have a community that is an eye for not just our community of Zimbabweans, but we're talking here the larger grouping of Africans across the continent. And this is how we've managed to get to where we are right now, and launching investigations like Gold Mafia from the scratch, on our own, and following, sometimes with minimal resources, but doing what we can to help lighten up and brighten up the human intellect on the news that matter, particularly things that people don't know. So, yeah. you will get offended when you hear sometimes if you have got preconceived judgments about certain things or certain people. I'm sure a lot of times people have been offended. I feel like, hey, no, this is not activism, mate. We're getting deep, right? So quickly, I I hope that I've answered there. People who are asking about the difference between Chiwenga and Emerson Mnangagwa. Does Chiwenga have capacity? Does the Chiwenga grouping have capacity to do anything against Mnangagwa? And my verdict today is no. Neither Chiwenga nor the grouping have capacity, real capacity. They are weak on intelligence, and that makes them woefully weak. The Chamisa grouping also is weak on intelligence, even though I think the Chiwenga grouping is worse, such that I've advised that what is needed to be done is for Chiwenga's name to be deleted from the books of ZANU-PF. And before ZANU-PF removes Mnangagwa, this ZANU-PF grouping removes Mnangagwa, the first person they need to remove is Chiwenga. They need to go and pick that man up, put him in a truck, and go and drop him in Wedza, because he's a waste of time, in my view. He shouldn't be there. He shouldn't even be anywhere near politics or leadership. Yeah, he's the weakest, in my view, the weakest citizen in Zimbabwe. The weakest. Zvekutodaro. So I think vanhu vezanu vari kuzvinyepera. They're lying to themselves. It's better that they just team up and just go behind the Chamisa grouping. But so quickly. Someone is saying, if Chiwenga can be deployed to facilitate the removal of ED, then let it be. But we have to dump him afterwards. But Hana intelligence. The guy is abusing his own wife. Yeah, Panas Jiripap. He just needs to, before you remove ED, you have to remove Chiwenga. If you're going to remove ED, if you're going to have capacity to remove ED, you need to remove Chiwenga first. Because, Chiwenga is a stumbling block to genuine ZANU-PF members who want change. He's a real, and if ZANU-PF members can't see this, then they're even worse on intelligence. Kana vasingazviona kuti Chiwenga itori liability. Then hakuna kwamuri kuenda kumana. Yeah, akapedza kudhara. And by the way, I'm wondering. I'm feeling tempted to share some deep secret here. Okay, can I tell you something? How politicians are weakened? I'm wondering here. Shall I share it here or shall I share it later? There's something that I was told by the head of the special branch, the Rhodesia special branch. Yeah, about this treatment that Mnangagwa is doing on Chiwenga. Something similar, and which I think will help people to understand. So Dan Stannard told me that Davaningi Stole, the real leader, the real genuine leader of ZANU-PF, he was weakened. How was he weakened? Hey, yeah, shall I say it, folks? Don't worry. No, I think I shouldn't. I think I should say it on another day. I have to really think about this. I have to think about what is safe and what is not. Yeah, but I'm hoping that people have picked up. I think I've given enough for today on this for people to digest. So quickly, we have a few more leads here, a few more stories today. There's a grouping of Nelson Chamisa activists who have marched, demanding an end to 2030. These are youths who are loyal to Nelson Chamisa. I know a lot of people say Chamisa resigned, Chamisa is no longer leader, Chamisa is now immobilized. I think people just can't understand what's going on, the dynamics of politics here, yeah, it's a Tika. The man who is called Sengezo Chabangu, who is now revealed as the real leader of this rebel grouping of so-called CCC, that is under the the brand of Welshman Lube. Sengezo Chabangu has never been an opposition man. He has always been a ZANU-PF. That's a fact. Has always been a Mnangagwa man. When we see him in the Motlanthe Commission, Sengezo Chamangu is actually campaigning to protect Emerson Mnangagwa from scrutiny over violence. And he is saying that Mnangagwa, all this while, since Kukurahundi, since 2002, 2005, 2008, 2017, 2018, Emerson Mnangagwa is the one who the army wants to kill. That's what Sengezo Chabangu says. Now, what that shows you is that when Chamisa resigned from that thing, he did not resign. He just quit what Emerson Mnangagwa had taken away. Because Chabangu is not just an activist. Chabangu is a Mnangagwa activist, period, for a very long time. So Chamisa hasn't quit. Haana kukwita chini Nelson Chamisa. And also Chamisa hana kupera. Hana kupera Chamisa. And what is simply needed here is for the Chamisa grouping to invest in intelligence machinery. Papa ya makadakwa papo, wanu ka Chamisa papa makadakwa. Because just like Wekwana Chiwenga, mono infiltrate so easily. And you have allowed infiltrators to come in, they lead you, they deputize you. Like right now, there's a move to make Fadzai Mahere by some people to elevate Fadzai Mahere as to make her deputize Chamisa soon when an institution is set up. Now, already that shows you that you're gone. Matopera, you're destroyed. Because my hair is a. Do you know what, folks? You need to know that the things that we have achieved on this news network, which have been beyond journalism, right? The advancements that we've done, investigative journalism that is real and that has brought here international case law that will help our people change their circumstances since the Motlanthe Commission and since the Jacob Mudenda Serbia days, that international prosecution case that I helped to open in Serbia, and what we have gotten today, where victims can now attach assets. People didn't know. Did you know that you can now attach assets? Emerson Mnangagwa's assets outside the country through the gold mafia investigation. Did you know that? That you can now attach, Zimbabweans can now attach Emerson Mnangagwa's assets outside the country, outside Zimbabwe, the same way that Ukrainians are attaching assets of Vladimir Putin, assets that have been seized of Vladimir Putin's outside Russia today. You've got power, Zimbabweans, to do that. You've literally got to that point. This is how much work we have done for the community. And not just that. We have managed also to disarm a large money laundering syndicate that has been led by Sengezo Chabangu that looted more than 25 million US dollars from Zimbabwean diaspora investors. A group that was called Togi Zindlovukazi in UK, led by the girlfriend of Welshman Lube's publicist, Jimicha Safara. That woman is called Situla Chuma. And this is money that is already being transferred into people's bank accounts as I'm on this broadcast. We have now gotten to over 30 bank refunds investors lost. If you are here and you're a Togi victim, you can even come in and you can make your own witness contribution, because you ladies, you have seen it, how we have helped you. Now you have obtained over 30 refunds, and Situle Chuma has now been arrested. She has also been charged 38 charges in the UK. High profile money laundering. But it's not just high profile money laundering, folks. This is a case that relates to the financing of something even huge that I can't say here. I won't mention the term. If you're a lawyer, you know what I'm talking about. Welshman Lube's publicist states that the reason why he set up this fund and then used Situle Chuma to run it and milk these women was for the purpose of purchasing properties for for Singers Ochabangu's party, or Welsh Singers Ochabangu's stroke Welshman Lube's party, not for the women to obtain investment retirement homes as was promised. It was for MDC Green, as they called it back then, to own properties using, inspired by the success of Hamas. If you're a lawyer, you know what we're talking about. You can click the link, you can, the articles, and you can actually see on this page, if you just type Tloki or Welshman or Chavango on the ZimI Twitter account, you can see the statements around the intention to collect this money. 25 million that was looted from Zimbabwean investors just sought to disable. Excuse me, my microphone has dropped. I'm hoping that people didn't lose anything there. People can still hear me. Yeah. So money that was looted in order to disable Nelson Chamisa's party. And 7 years later, there's not a single title deed that has been purchased for these women. Hapana kana one title deed. Yakatengwa. Vana shabangu vakarwa big rese. Rakatliwa rese big. The whole money was looted by Sengezo Chavango. So this is a whole scam. But the undoing of this scam, as money is being reversed, hear me, Zimbabweans, the undoing of this scam, if you're a lawyer here, I don't want to say too many things. I hope you understand here. Because, I am inside the unbundling of the scam myself. But if you're a lawyer, I'm sure you can hear what this means. The reversals of this stolen money, this stolen 25 million, with each transfer that is being done into people's bank accounts, what it means, not just for these people, but for the Abantu in Zimbabwe, what it means, the opportunity that it explodes for the people of Zimbabwe. Are you getting it? If you're a lawyer, press the green button and tell me. Oh, sorry, I think I lost Twitter Space. I lost you. Twitter Space, I lost you. Are you in now? I think I'd lost you, Twitter Space. Twitter Space, I needed someone here because it looks like I went mute there. I went totally mute. So what I was saying was, can someone just come in and help just to guide me? Because I just discovered that on Twitter Space, I just go totally mute. So what I was saying was the unbundling of this scam with every refund that is being done, right? Every refund that is being done. I said over 30 refunds have been done right now, times 3,000, 6,000 per person. It's not a lot, but each transfer that is being done, okay? We know that there are over 550 women who lost this money, this 25 million. But each transfer that is being done to refund, to restore these women to their position, what it means legally, not just for these women. Now that that fund is connected to an aspect of money laundering, which is beyond just money laundering. Right? Can you hear it? Can you hear it, those who are lawyers? I don't want to use the term here. Okay. So with each transfer that is being restored, the opportunity that is presented, not just to these women, but to the greater Abantu, the Zimbabwe. What is it? Tell me. Ndeipi. Tell me, Zimbabweans. Are you getting it? I don't, I'm so taura ndiri nigga. Zvoda kuti vamwe vanhu vanga vachizvitaura. Zvoda hazvidi kuti ndinge ndichitaura inini ka. Because I shouldn't be the one who is spoon feeding it. Mm. Inini, I should be there to just give you the basics. And then you tell me what you are hearing in your ears. So all these amazing things that are happening, Zimbabweans, that Zim I News Network is seeing, is all these things that present huge opportunity to change Zimbabwe. Let's not forget, including the restoration of Zambia through the Zim I News Network, the restoration of Botswana through the Zim I News Network. People will remember when Ian Khama was stranded in the diaspora and needed a voice to air out his struggles in the diaspora. He came to Zimai in 2021 and we hosted him here. We started publishing his articles. President Khama, when he was fighting Masisi, when soon after Emerson Mnangagwa had begun controlling Botswana or influencing Botswana politics. So what I'm saying at the end of the day is all these things, folks, that we are seeing, even other countries obtaining freedom, but not just that. Folks, listen to me. The gold mafia investigation that Zimbabweans started, people didn't know this. The gold mafia investigation was not started by Al Jazeera. It was not started by Qatar. It was not started by English journalists. It was started by Zimbabweans. Get this right. Type it down. The gold mafia investigation that now helps not just Zimbabwe, but the continent in transitioning from dictatorships, criminal dictatorships, to democracies through successful exposing of money laundering. That investigation was started by Zimbabweans. Today, I'm going to be talking about, later tonight, I've got a space that we're going to host, the difference between Mozambicans and Zimbabweans. Are Zimbabweans weaker? And how can things be better? Have you subscribed to that space? Join that space. Because I'm going to be talking about the real things that Zimbabweans don't see. Those who say that Zimbabweans are weaker than Mozambicans, I'll show you that Zimbabweans are 10 times better than Mozambicans, that Zimbabweans have actually traveled very, very far, way ahead of Mozambicans. Zimbabweans have helped to free at least 2 countries, if not 3 countries. And Zimbabweans started the gold mafia investigation. And Zimbabweans have and are now the light of the continent in exposing high-level election rigging, smuggling, gold smuggling, and money laundering. Those are Zimbabweans. And those Zimbabweans were led and they were inspired by Mondlane-Chamisa. Hear me. This is factual, right? So those who are telling you, oh, Zimbabweans are weaker, Zimbabweans started this big money laundering investigations here on Ziman. If you're not one of them, then maybe just keep quiet because I am one of them. I was there. I started that big investigation in 2015 when no one else during that time was on it. Then I was joined by a few other Zimbabweans who assisted us to carry out that investigation when no other media house was on it. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, risking our lives. When I made the first phone call to Kamlesh Patni, the one who is now under sanctions, in October 2018, and I lied to him that he has left his suitcase at the airport, at RGM airport. He needs to come and pick it up, the suitcase that is full of gold. I only had 13,000 Zimbabweans on my live broadcast. That live video is still there. These are the Zimbabweans who have led this groundbreaking, nation blasting, continent blasting, world blasting, brave investigation to dismantle a multi-billion pound gold smuggling network. These are Zimbabweans inspired by Nelson-Chamisa, not by some award-winning, whiskey-drinking Twitter character or some lawyer whose only pride is winning or claim to activism is winning a defamation, an empty defamation case against Mnangagwa's advisor. These are Zimbabweans who are not known. Zimbabweans who are not known at all. Zimbabweans like Njabulo, who will never be given an award, who will never be recognized, they will never be put up in any structures. But they've been hard workers here on this news network. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know why I keep getting muted. Can you hear me, folks? Come forward. I don't know why I keep getting muted here. I don't know where I got lost now. I'm totally lost now. Ah, dear. My video broadcast is okay. I was wondering where I got muted. I was saying that, yeah. So these are Zimbabweans. Comfort, are you there? I'm just keep getting muted. But anyway, yeah, I keep getting muted, and I'm wondering where I got muted. You know. But anyway, I was just saying that today I'm going to be doing a space in about 6 hours from now. That space is going to be exploring Zimbabweans versus Mozambicans and the claim that Zimbabweans are weaker than Mozambicans and how can they make it better. And I'm going to be showing here how Zimbabweans are actually 10 times way more brave and way more strategic than Mozambicans, and how Zimbabweans have actually advanced way better than Mozambicans to the point of freeing up at least two countries, making two countries become democracies. And that is Zambia and Botswana in the last 4 years. But not just that, Zimbabweans have also launched the biggest, the most explosive, the most conclusive investigation on election rigging, gold mafia, gold smuggling, that is at a point, at a level of election rigging and illegal retaining of dictators on the continent. Those are Zimbabweans. Those are not Arabs. That's not Al Jazeera. Stop saying Anzi Zimbabwe, hey, Al Jazeera started. That's a lie. That documentary was started by Zimbabweans here on this news network. And if you're not one of them, I was. I was there in 2015. And I was joined by a few Zimbabweans. And when I eventually made, the first phone call was made by Hubert Anjo in 2018, March. And then I exposed him February, March. I made it public. And then when I made the first physical phone call to Kamlesh Patni, who is the the high profile money launderer who's now under sanctions and through whom Zimbabweans can now get their assets back, can now attach their assets the same way that Ukrainians are attaching Russian assets outside of Russia right now. When I made that phone call to Kamlesh Patni, telling him to come back to RGM airport and collect his suitcase full of gold, I only had 13,000 Zimbabweans on my Facebook Live. Only 13,000. There was no award winning, whiskey drinking Twitter character on that live video at all. That was on the 9th of October 2018. No one. It was just 13,000 people, 13,000 Zimbabweans. There was no young, pretty looking, Borodale, Mount Pleasant accent lawyer priding self with winning an empty defamation case against Mnangagwa's advisor on that live. No, that live was just 13,000 Zimbabweans. Live viewers, maybe there were just 500 people watching. Only. Those were Zimbabweans. Those were not Al Jazeera. Those were not BBC. They were not English people. They were Zimbabweans who started that investigation here on ZimEye. And that is a continent breaking, continent level of an investigation. So this is huge. These are our people. Someone tells me that Zimbabweans are weak, that Zimbabweans are not strategic. I don't get it. I don't get it. Where? How can you tell me the Zimbabweans are less strategic? How can you tell me that Zimbabweans are weak? Those were Zimbabweans who were inspired by Mondlane-Chamisa, not by a whiskey drinking Twitter award winning character or some Mount Pleasant accent defamation case boasting or celebrating lawyer. Those were people, real Zimbabweans, who may never get an award, who may never get. But you know, what did they achieve? Those Zimbabweans have achieved continent level of change. They are not weak. So I'm going to be talking about it tonight so that our people can, can participate. And Zimbabweans need to know what you have, because the biggest thing that captors people who capture you, people who disrupt you, do on you, the damage that they do on you is to make you not see what you already have. Cecil John Rhodes, the first thing that he did to Lovengula was to make him not know what he had, that he was actually a king and that he was actually advanced in his own right, and that he didn't need a contract with the English at all. So I would like to see that change. I would like to see our people empowered. I would like to see our people not doubt who they are, who you are. So folks, this is what I can tell you here. Thank you, B, saying, please go ahead. Thank you very much. Yeah. So Zimbabweans are very, very powerful. Zimbabweans are way, way more advanced than Mozambicans. Yeah, they are. They are huge. I remember, you know, when we were hiring lawyers, Comfort, over the years, we were hiring solicitors, some of the best solicitors in the world who are trained in international litigation since 2019. And we had a group of Serbian lawyers, 2 Serbian lawyers, and then we had a group of British lawyers as well. And we had several forums since 2020 who were advising our people on what to say, what to do to change their situation. The Zimbabweans who contributed money here, the money that they contributed, these are Zimbabweans who may never get an award. And I would like to see myself that stop where people who do the hard work are never recognized. And you know, on this space, I'm joined by one young lady from our community who rarely gets recognized. And yet she's done some hard hitting work in assisting Zimbabweans with high profile medical needs. including plastic surgery, facial reconstruction, the first acid attack, facial recognition, facial reconstruction surgery. Sponsoring Zimbabweans right from the continent, flying them to Europe and to America, and also has participated in hell and in doing what people. She's one of those people who have tend to be always there. Yeah, Comfort Londo, I hope you can say hello to the people here. Because I just want, just want.
Thank you so much, Simba. Hello, Zimbabweans. Happy New Week. January is almost over. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really, I'm really feeling the energy in which you started this space, Simba. That I'm reminded of our trip to Zambia. But I wanted to just comment on, and thank you so much for the kind words. I think it's what any Zimbabwean child would do, to try and advocate for getting our birthright together with my brothers and sisters. Um, this weekend I was on a space with a young sister Ruvimbo, and on the other ear, I had my board meeting going, but I kept co-hosting with her on a space, and I made the comment that it just reminded me that my heart is in Zimbabwe. My heart is home. And unfortunately, we have had to be forced. Someone else Zimbabwe could shanda somewhere else. That has nothing to do with our birthright, but yet our heart is home. So you can imagine what that does to your spirit when your heart is somewhere else, but physically you have to be somewhere else. This is the plight of every Zimbabwean who has been unplugged from home.
Mm, mm,
Gold Mafia. It's interesting, Simba, because I also have been lifting up the gold mafia so many times. I've been lifting it up. I've been seeing people doing things and discussing issues, and I said, just go back to the gold mafia and go and watch it without being so personal to the character who led the gold mafia. Because as children of Zimbabwe, we have been conditioned. We've been conditioned for over 4 decades of trauma, to a point where we've forgotten who we are. I'll give, um, and I'm also part of this issue, and I tend to do more healing work with survivors. So I tend to observe myself more in how I be. I think we have the most difficult working relationship because we tell each other the truth. And I won't go too deep into that, but we tell each other the truth so we can keep each other in check. But I think that's a skill that we might have to harness as a nation, because when your brain is in trauma, it's really hard to not cause harm to the next brother or sister. And so as Zimbabweans, I see sometimes how we talk about ourselves. We've forgotten who we are. You said something that I wanted to just comment on. You said I would the people who capture you will always want to make sure you forget who you are. The people who capture you will always want to make sure you forget who you are. Who's capturing us? Let me give you a few examples. And before I do so, let me give you another maybe side example that will show you what capturing does. When the African ancestors were brought to the United States by force through the Atlantic Ocean for over 400 plus years ago, one of the things that the white men did, actually two of the main things that they did was they made sure they changed the last names, or they changed the names of the slaves. For the women, they made sure that they undid the curls of their hair, the coils of their hair, to the point of introducing relaxers and stuff. Why did they do those things? Because they wanted them to forget their identity. Another one, they forced them to learn the English language. I could go on and on, but you get the two examples now and where I'm going with it.
Oh, this is
People
so
who
interesting.
capture, yeah, people who capture you who always want to make sure you forget who you are. For us as Zimbabweans, Simba, and I'll learn shortly because I see more speakers here. How we've been captured is, I'll give a few examples as well. There's been characters that have continued to be created. Some characters have been created by the system, and we as Zimbabweans we've answered to their names, we've answered to their position, in which they keep reminding us of how important they are. And because of that, when a brother like Simba comes and says there are some whiskey drinking, award-winning Twitter characters that we are not even going to mention their names because we don't want to go there right now. We don't want to give it relevance. When a brother like Simba brings that up, we all are quick to shun him off because of the naming. We've forgotten who we are because we look so much up to him that we look at the followers that those people have, and then we forget our own power. And so what happens is ours is captured. Our power is captured by those personalities because they are claiming to be doing us a favor of sorts. The second way we've forgotten ourselves is that there have also been some personalities that have aligned themselves closely with the likes of Mondlane-Chamisa. They've aligned themselves closely with the likes of Mondlane-Chamisa. And they've become so popular that even when things are not making sense on our end, we're still clapping hands for them, even if they're the ones that are making us forget ourselves. So I wanted to say, children of Zimbabwe, we have so much power as an individual. We have so much power, as Simba showed us with Gold Mafia. Let us not have other people divert our attention and distract us through forgetting who we really are. Who some other nations call us. I'll give example who South Africans call us at this moment because we are not doing well as a nation is not who we are. We know who we are. And so Simba, thank you so much. Thanks for giving me a little bit of space to just respond and share my reflections this morning.
Oh, thank you very much, Comfort. I think we're gonna move to. I think it's before Signoro. We have Maganga. Maganga, I think you're the first. And I will then also want to just play the two major breaking news items that I have because I've got a bit of footage here that I want to share with people. As I said before, we have a breakthrough that has happened to victims of property scams in the UK. A scam that included the looting of over 25 million from investors in the UK has resulted in the first lawyer behind a Welshman Nube publicist program called Kokis in Lovukazi. Her legal practice was stopped last week. Her name is Julian Conliffe, who over the years, over the last 8 years, was claiming she's a property investor, and she was claiming that she's purchasing property for people, helping people buy property and become millionaires, and was claiming she's a millionaire herself. Her legal practice was shut down last week by the UK Solicitors Regulatory Authority, in a major development that then speaks volumes around the bigger scam of over 25 million that she also started together with the girlfriend of Welshman Nube's publicist Jimicha Safara, a woman called Situle Chuma, who is right now under 38 police charges. I won't talk about the police charges, but I'll talk about the court cases that have been won in Manchester, two that have been won, two court verdicts, and also over 30 refunds that have been issued to victims of this property scam, and on this group of women who were lied to by Welshman Nube's publicist that he is purchasing property for them in Zimbabwe, when in actual fact, and sorry, the property being retirement homes, when in actual fact, what he was purchasing and building for himself were properties for their fake CCC party, or then called MDC Green Party back then. And so this is the major development, and I want to share it because a gentleman who spearheaded this fight, I interviewed him last night, and he is a Polish gentleman who was one of the partners of the Zimbabweans in the group of Zimbabweans, and he managed to recover 56,000 British pounds. But at the same time, he has managed now to launch the investigation by the Solicitors Regulatory Authority. So I said the law firm Julie Conliffe, or Julie Masanzu Conliffe's law firm was shut down. She is now also personally facing tribunal action, tribunal prosecution, set to happen around July, August. But her practice, Creative Solutions, is no longer in operation. And if you are a victim of that and you were scared, a lot of women who lost this money to Julie Conliffe were afraid of challenging her because she seemed to have a way of manipulating investors, manipulating her clients, such that they would be afraid. So if you are afraid, you can now quickly submit your case to the SRA. If you need us also to help you connect with other resources of recovering your money, we can also do that. So let's quickly have, oh, Maganga is gone. Signor, good morning or good afternoon.
Hi, Simba.
How are you doing, Signor? I know you are a passionate. If I'm correct, you are a passionate Chiwenga, or maybe you've got a mix of Chiwenga support, isn't it? In your mind, you believe in Chiwenga. Am I right?
Affirmative, you are right.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So let's just get your response to this. I don't know at what point you joined in our discussion, but let's just have you shoot.
Well, I just saw the topic. I was attracted to the Zimbabwean topic.
Sorry. You magagarra phone saka microphone iruvaita we can't hear the actual words. I think you're speaking while you're lying down. You need to raise, maybe sit up or something. Yeah, because we won't be able to hear you.
Sorry about that. My apology. So I bumped into the topic. I'm attracted to any topic that speaks to Zimbabwe. Admittedly, so I'm actually addicted to my motherland, Zimbabwe. So anything that speaks to Zimbabwe. So I didn't saw Chiwenga. Not so much to know exactly what you are talking about, Chiwenga, but maybe I would respond to your question. I'm not a ZANU-PF supporter. I've never been a ZANU-PF member. I've had rubbed shoulders very close with ZANU-PF, traditionalist, to the point of having a meeting with a political member, which anybody who understands the dynamics, it has to be authorized, and the president would know. So, saying this deliberately as to those who have seen me, if there is any, those who have heard me say information about ZANU, it is through that engagement, nothing else. Chianga, I don't know whether he's Portuguese blood or not, but they are also sending me that Gouveia is from Mozambique. Just giving the background, but generally it's because of that, and he's somebody that I just like this work. It's nothing more than that. I don't know him. I've never. Well, I would say I've met him, greeted him. Maybe one would want to know but it's not good for the space. My business in Zimbabwe, which is intelligence and security, privacy. Not official, but yes, because when you mix with security people, we end up also bumping into these people. So I'm saying it deliberately so people can understand even my arguments. One of the things that you would hear when you are associating with people who are in the military, associating with them, not on political grounds, but now when I look back, the things that were being said, which I cared less. And one of them is the coup, which I've argued through and through, that it's not a continuous process. It's not like Chiwenga did coup, but he was used. That one I'm very adamant. I won't even have the energy to argue. So basically, I like the guy, and maybe because I also have a military mind. I don't know, but we just click like that. I mean, nothing more, nothing less. I don't know if that answers your question.
I see. I need to hear a bit more from you. You said that Chiwenga was used. Why do you say so? Maybe take us into that.
I'll do a quick one. Maybe it was supposed to be. I've never really thought I would say such things because this is a very sensitive issue. So it starts back then in 2011, 12. When I would hear about visits, I think you understand where I'm coming. I would visit the office of one of those that I led with partnership in my business back then in Zim. But I would do it in Haiti and Chiwenga. He doesn't want. So I'm just saying so you understand it's progressive. That I might be wrong, but my allegations are coming from that angle. Fast forward, we were almost arrested at Brook. Little do we know that Brook is now a security zone. I'll say this because when we look at that.
So what were you doing at the Brook for you to be arrested or for you to face arrest?
So, nothing serious. One of my business friends, he was friends to one of the Indian guys staying in the Brook. So we just paid a visit. So we're excited to drive around the Brook. So I was driving. So it was four of us. So we drove, right at those who know the Brook, the house at the top of the Brook, which is facing the blue roof, Mugabe's residence, is Chiwenga's house. So that is the patrol route where even residents, they don't go there. So we drove, and obviously, I would have to be honest, the interest, we wanted to take a view from that end to see Mugabe's residence because, even when you're passing, you don't have time to see. So we use that as an opportunity to see the blue roof if we were going to see right inside. So it was just out of excitement. So fast forward, so we are driving out after visiting my other friend's friend, an Indian guy. Then we stopped by the gate. So, obviously you think it's security, but that's when we realized I'm a Wanatanga. So they was communicating with supposedly the security. where someone says CIO, what are you talking about? When you say CIO, what do you mean? So what I'm trying to say is they can be found. These are members of an institution, intelligence institution called CIO. Who technically we call people CIO. We don't know what. We don't even take time to find out what constitutes CIO. But the point I'm making is one of the responses by one of the people that we had was like, it's very difficult to say this office is for the CIO, this person is from the CIO. So hence, it was deceiving that, or rather sometimes even now, it's deceiving when you see a security guard, you think it's security. Because they were kind of like, if guys, you seem to be awakened. But you should have known, and then it makes sense when you look at it. You cannot have ordinary security guards manning Brook. Why I'm pointing out to Brook? Chiwenga, I don't know even, maybe now, still now, he was, at the time, he was chairman, Brook. So I could be wrong, but I realized that, when you buy property, there's always an association. They, depending on the setup, they can agree to sell you a piece of land or not. But because this is now, because of proximity, being the chairman, only those who probably are vetted can buy stand at the time, could buy stand, or you can't just allow him to take it. So I'm talking about the background, about the hashtag is, that's what I heard. And it didn't matter. Look, I'm not a political activist. And I mean, it didn't matter to me. But they were talking, I'm talking of high profile people in the military talking. So, at the airport, to be quite frank, each one of us, we've got friends, relatives, we've got WhatsApp groups. There's somebody who alluded to the fact that a relative, I don't know, a brother or sister, waiting for cars, right? They were on duty. And when the plane landed from China, I remember, I must say this, I have a question. Why would Mugabe authorize Chiwenga to fly out of Zimbabwe at the time when he needed the most? I careless people who don't understand the dynamics, you don't just go out of the country. There are certain people who are authorized by the president. And our security system, as far as I know, is watertight. I always say it's close to Mossab. So for anyone to convince me that Chiwenga escaped or he wasn't authorized, it's a trick that happens in politics. If I want to get rid of Comfort, it's either I'll put a headline that Comfort Abba, and I'll use this example deliberately. I don't think Dr. Moy, the minister, stole. He didn't steal. Anybody who is reasonable will understand that the guy who lifted Chianga Hospital, that they wanted to pave a way, in my view, I could be wrong, for Chiwenga, because I will say over the years, Tashai, I will say Zimbabwe is not competent enough. Moy is the only last person qualified to run Ministry of Health, because it was then taken over by Chiwenga. So I'm just saying this so we can understand what's bad about Chiwenga. I'm not shy to talk about it. That's corruption to me. That's very wrong. So now, going back to the plan, the rumor, put it simple, was when the plane arrives, because I've been a frequent flyer for years, over 20 years, the first people to get into the plane.
Sorry, Senor, I'm gonna cut you. I need to touch on because I think we're veering off. Please come back to this issue. Seeing what Chiwenga is doing on his wife right now, do you see him Genuinely, we're not talking about removing Mnangagwa or replacing Mnangagwa, but even the acting president between today and the day Mnangagwa comes back, do you see him as a credible leader, seeing what he's doing to his wife?
Certainly not. He can't be a credible leader, Chiwenga. He can't be. I hope I've answered you directly. He can't be. If you want me to clear the
Right.
contradictions,
And how do you think he's going to be running things now? Now that there's a grouping that is calling for him to replace Mnangagwa, how do you think he's going to make it in these circumstances? Do you see things going to be smooth? Yeah, going forwards. And what are your propositions for a way forward for the warring factions in ZANU-PF if you were given an opportunity, particularly the grouping that Chiwenga is getting backing from? So the
first and
Gudo Guru,
foremost,
vanonzi veGudo Guru handitika, the Gudo Guru grouping. What's your advice to the Gudo Guru grouping of ZANU-PF?
to be quite honest, look, I believe I'm a God-fearing person. I hate to lie or to exaggerate situations when I'm talking of issues of national interest. I lie, but not too much generally. But when it comes to issues of national interest, I don't see why I should lie. Now, I didn't know why I'm saying this. There are a lot of things that I don't know. Most people think I'm all over the show. To be quite honest, I'm hearing something from you now that they seem to be, it is intensified. Am I correct? The group which is behind Chiwenga, is that so?
Yes, yeah. There's the Gudo Guru grouping. Yeah, vanositi Gudo Guru, ivava. Vanoti gore, yeah, gorere Gudo Guru, ve Gudo Guru, sorry, yeah, grouping.
I don't even know, and there is a hashtag. I'm not, but I'm not surprised. You know why? 2018, I was in a group, WhatsApp group. Those who remember the guy who first challenged the, you know, the who first challenged the coup, which is not coup, that is ZANU-PF. They did not have a central committee. Those who remember, we met there in another city and Mafia. So we had a series of lectures. So the guy, Tawanda, he clicked, he inboxed me, we talked. He invited me to a group backdating 2018, People's General. There was a group called People's General. The bulk, majority of youth members of the youth league in ZANU-PF, they were behind Chiwenga. But I dropped in that group, not intentionally, by mistake. I can't remember. I lost my phone or something. End of year, December 2018. So I've always known that there is a group, very strong group. Like I said, one of the guys was the guy who challenged, but who at the end of the day I realized maybe that challenge was not genuine. So the other guy who is now in jail, I think Akazongwa Akiras, sometimes I'm saying something that so sometimes people follow somebody not knowing that it's a project. So that group, to me, if you are saying this good group, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all. So the main issue that I want to say, why I think I've posted something. I have to clarify. I did clarify yesterday. Who amongst us here can we think, okay, in Zimbabwe, who do you think can deal with the machinery other than a member of the military or retired? Oh, by the way, there's a book 7 days in November. Some of the things I knew about them before information through journalists. Because one of the guy who is the legal counsel in that book was my lawyer. I can't kind of papers. So the journalist was asking, so I want to know, how did you end up in Tamgesa with all these people? Because these are journalists. You could understand that I've known this one, that one, that one, that one. That's when he said, do you know that this lawyer of yours, a humanitarian lawyer for that matter, Gabriel Shumba. Anyone can Google him. Who's got a history of being abused and all that. He was the head legal counsel. So I want people to connect here. So that being said, the coup, which is not a coup, was masterminded in my view. And I always say, up until Chiwenga himself says, or Chianga, to say, especially Chiwenga. Chiwenga was used, it's Muchanga, people who were not even members of ZANU-PF, people who were not uniformed forces, people who were military training intense, but retired people. It was a game of psychology to me. Those are the people that, in my view today, can do as justice, which speaks to freedom. Anybody else, I included, we are civilians. We don't know what it takes because the psychology I'm talking about, you need to have military intelligence, right? See how we can break protocols. There's a lot of things that happen, radio communication, you have to be an influencer, in that area, armed intelligence. And for those who have read the book, it's easy because he was then flying from one state to the other. Who is the person in the UK, which again people don't know. UK was involved. So a lot of countries were. So the coup was endorsed by people that we think they love us because they accommodate us, because we are refugees, because we don't have a right to be refugees. But when it comes to the Zimbabwean issue, I care less. I'm not a regime apologist. I know they facilitated the coup, which was a coup. And I learned, hence I'm saying, it's not as easy as I'm saying. Well in advance, we need an advanced team, an intelligence team, counterintelligence team amongst us. Who will reach out to Chiwenga? Chiwenga, he's not a ghost, he's not in heaven, he's not an ancestor, he's a human being. So the intelligence people, they know how they can connect and find a way to talk to him and get to understand exactly, not listen to say exactly what is in his head. If he is for the leaders, which most people don't realize, there's competition of ideas to empower the young people. That is one thing that we can safely agree. Look at Mugabe, what he's doing, and that is what Mugabe wanted to do. If you think using the wife 2014, eliminating all of them, pretending he doesn't know what's going on, ask yourself, what is it that he was up to? What did he want to do, Congress? He wanted to appoint new blood, but of course, Wakamudoneza. So Chiwenga, I strongly feel because of your paying allegiance to other chief, which can be confirmed if there's anybody who's got proof or any information that speaks to Mugabe being angry to Chiwenga, tell me. The person whom Mugabe should have said, you have betrayed me, is Chiwenga, not Mnangagwa. That also links you to say Chiwenga was tied. I think he was used. And that being said, there is also information that speaks to, not information, Chiwenga meetings after Mugabe had left with Mugabe in China and all that. So a transition authority is what I'm saying. After this advanced team, he has spoken, I don't know, I don't know, but I'm just giving it to get to know exactly. Shandika now is military. And we to find out Shandika now. The military is ours, is there to guide the sovereignty and to the interest of the citizens of Zimbabwe. It's a fact. So we because of one retired Chiwenga, we then all paint every military guy with the same blanket. They only used the uniform to televise the event. It's a fact. Even at Anasmusis, they were used to televise. They were not involved in the cruises of the coup. Civilians, Albert and Diamond, I'm talking, then we can talk. But not to say those who are uniformed, it was just to deceive the man. So the team would then, together with citizens, in my view, set conditions for an MOU second chance to speak. The MOU which I'm convinced was signed by Blue. Not a signing why you. Can I keep Jonathan another teaser? So what will stop us from signing the deal? Chiwenga in the military say, we don't want that. You try what you did. We use him to our advantage. So it is easy as I'm saying that I'm saying paving the way for transition government is what I'm saying in summary. Is the way forward for the government. Suspend anything, everything, redo our constitution, and use what ZANU-PF and our leaders are doing without our consent to suspend the election. Follow that whole matrix, but on our conditions. Suspension of election pending reconstruction of our constitution, and of course, if you're a 25-year-old, I'm sure can be a president. And then
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Around that, yeah. Thank you very much, Signoro, for your lengthy contribution. We're going to move to Branold. Branold, I've got Branold. Branold, are you in? Okay, Branold is breaking. Okay, I think Branold came in and then broke there. I don't know. Comfort, do you think that Signoro responded well on the issue of Chiwenga and the kids? No, hold on, Signora. I just wanted to hear what Comfort just says to this. Yeah, Comfort, shoot it.
Yeah, I think what I heard from Signora is he definitely said like Chiwenga definitely cannot be a good leader if we're considering how he's treating Mary. And I also heard him saying, but then we instead of paraphrasing, we're at this point, according to him, who else? We're desperate. Who else could deal with this? So what I'm understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is they're almost all gone now, with or being killed thereof. Our only hope is then General, despite the fact that Senior even knows that General would not be a great leader. But then we are desperate. That's what I heard, Senior, and I think I saw you putting 100% emojis. So that's what I heard, Simba. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Go on a half minute, please, so that we can move to the next person. Thanks.
Those who didn't know, I don't blame you. It is because of my orientation. The intelligent hired the hardcore criminals to do the job. So I'm saying this deliberately.
Okay. And how relevant is that?
It's as simple as that. While she's a bad character, you can do the job.
Okay. but then msoro wake unenge uri upi? But msoro wake unenge uri upi manje?
Holding Chiwenga ransom speaks to an MLA. It would be first things first to understand who really is. It's very, very possible. Two, signing an MOU before it's even publicized, which relates to the MOU was signed at the blood off. To say, we are using you. About the one up. The moment Guerrilla know what you want, we want to use you, right, to free Zimbabwe. So when Zimbabwe is free, during the transition period, we give you a package, we sit aside. Not for him to take over. I believe this is an opportunity for, we're in a desperate situation. I put it that way. When we're desperate, you fight tooth and nail. So the issue of kids, I'll repeat. Yesterday I said, what my brother is doing is so wrong. I hope you are listening, my brother, Constantine Chiwenga. No. Before you are a general, you are a human being. I feel bad to teach you what you know already. Whatever Jamaica, whether they are treasonous issues, which we are hearing, whatever, if Jamaica was planned to assassinate you, well, I don't care. If my ground deserves better. That being said, military soldier. Eventually, the family meeting, these are people, these are brothers. And I learned in Shiti, if there is anybody who is close to Chianga, what am I going to do, what you want or what, please, advise him to join the spaces. Why is only a cost account? Maybe the security system, they are not telling them the truth. So I call that 360. That is so wrong. No human rights abuse. No one's above law when it comes to that.
Wow. Wow, here we are. Thank you very much, Senor. I think we're going to move to the last speaker so that we can. I need to go so that I prepare for the space that I want to do later on today after 5 hours, where I'm going to be discussing Zimbabweans versus Mozambicans, are Zimbabweans weaker and how can things be better? And yeah, who's next here? I think he has dropped. He or she has dropped, right, Comfort? It looks like they've dropped.
Yep. They dropped.
I see. I see. Yeah. Well. Here we are, Zimbabweans. We're going to need to be shutting shortly. We've just been discussing how all eyes are on Chiwenga right now, and I was asked to give my personal analysis over Chiwenga's preparedness to take over power vis-a-vis his his senior Emerson Mnangagwa or his competitor for power Emerson Mnangagwa, and I think I gave it quite lengthy there. But I'm also hoping, just as we land, that people obtained what I mentioned there. That Zimbabweans, you underestimate yourselves. We have seen you circulating videos, very very powerful videos, emotional videos of Mozambicans, and you've been saying that Mozambicans are better than you Zimbabweans. You've also been saying Venancio Mondlane is way more courageous, way more strategic than Nelson Chamisa. And what I gave here today is my own analysis, and I will be going on to this. I will be blowing more heat or more energy later on today to show with evidence, by the way, to show you with V11s that Zimbabweans are actually way more powerful, way more courageous, and way more strategic, and that Zimbabweans have actually achieved way better change than Mozambicans. They have achieved change that has changed at least, that has transformed at least two countries, helped to transition two countries right now, Zambia and Botswana, into democracy. These are Zimbabweans who have done it, handcrafted it, the way that Kaunda did it, perhaps even better than what Kaunda used to do during the 70s. Zimbabweans have done it on Zambia and on Botswana. If you were not there, ask, shut up, keep quiet, and then ask those who were there, who have been doing it, who have been doing the hard work, touching mud, touching rubbish for the masses, for the millions, changing countries. But not just that. Zimbabweans are the ones who started the gold mafia investigations. And that is what I was also illustrating there. The gold mafia investigation was started by Zimbabweans. It was run by Zimbabweans from scratch for several years. And what Al Jazeera only did was just to do the final things. Kungoita someone would even call it mucheka dzafa. Ndozvakaitwa neAl Jazeera zvezvia. Ndiri kukuudza ega because inini wacho ndiriweko. Saka ndotozviziva. Basa rese rakashandwa nemaZimbabweans pai, the strategy for it, the hiring of lawyers who could explain what is needed to be done to expose the high profile money laundering was done by Zimbabweans. There were no Arabs there. There was no one from Al Jazeera there. There was no one from BBC. Those were Zimbabweans. I started that project in 2015. And in 2018, when I did the first live broadcast calling one of the mafias, I only had 13,000 views on my live video. And Zimbabweans were putting together the small money that they had to hire lawyers, to hire strategists and analysts. People are here. I think Chief Soshe is there. Chief Soshe was also part of it. Putting together, oh, Simba, do this. Oh, let's do it this way. Let's PP community coming together. Those were Zimbabweans. Stop saying Al Jazeera. Say Al Zimbabwe. Those you Zimbabweans did it. The only problem, you just don't know what you have. And that is the problem. That is why Ulowengula lost this country. He lost this country because of not knowing what he had in his hands. So Zimbabweans did that work. And that is work now that has created international law on money laundering. UK and US, what is called Magnitsky Law. This is sanctions, the first round of sanctions on up to 28 individuals, so that victims can now seize assets of these individuals. The same way that Ukrainians are seizing Russian properties outside Russia, Zimbabweans can now seize the assets of these Mnangagwa employees stashed outside the country. Is this a small thing, folks? Is this a Mozambican project? How do you compare this to what people have been claiming to be achievements in Mozambique? These are Zimbabweans who have done it, who sacrificed their lives, Zimbabweans who may never get an award, who have done it. And these are Zimbabweans who were led by a young man called Nelson-Chamisa, who were inspired by a young man called Nelson-Chamisa, by the sacrifice him and his leadership have been doing over the last 20 years. Not by some whiskey drinking Twitter character, award winning Twitter character, waiting to criticize the sacrifice of poor people, or some squeaky talking Mount Pleasant accent lawyer who only prides self through an empty defamation case against Emerson Mnangagwa's advisors, which is only facilitatory. Now, Zimbabweans, these are poor Zimbabweans who may never be recognized, who have been doing this hard work. Not anyone who is in the media limelight. As I end, I also talk about just now a breaking news item relating to an award-winning lawyer in the UK, a big solicitor who is a media flame in the UK called Julie Conliffe, who was stealing properties from Zimbabweans and other citizens in the United Kingdom, who started the 25 million scam that funded Welshman Ngube, so the MDC Green can destabilize Nelson-Chamisa from contributions of UK investors, UK employees, UK diasporans. So that lawyer, if you look at her, if you Google right now, Julie Conliffe, again, a squeaky sounding Borodale accent, Mount Pleasant accent of a female lawyer. Nice looking, sweet talking, great appearance lawyer, but scheming, stealing the future of thousands, and in this case, millions of citizens, all for self-enrichment. So if you go on the Solicitors Regulatory Authority website right now, you will notice that Julie Conliffe is now a disbarred lawyer. Her firm, which is called Creative Solutions. If you go on the SRA website, if you're in the UK, if you go there, you will see, I think I'm going to put the link here also. Um, you will see that it has been, her firm is now banned for good by the SRA after launching this multi-million pound scam that Welshman Lube and Sengezo Chabangu used to destabilize the leadership of Nelson Chamisa. And these are the very, very destabilizing circumstances that have led to Chamisa stepping out of that party. It was now infiltrated by people who had received money. And I've put it here. I think I've put the link here. People can just read a little bit about it. You can see this is a multi-million pound scam that destabilized your party. 25 million. Makambo vele nganiswa. Look at it here. Here is Welshman Lubes. I think I've put it on the link here. Have you got it? I've put it here. Check it. This is Welshman Lubes' publicist announcing this 25 million scam that they were using this money to buy properties for MDC Green, buy properties for Sengezo Chamangu's party, from stealing from Matebele women in the Kogi grouping. So what I'm saying at the end of the day is that they are facades, and the people who are really the change makers, they are unknown. And Zimbabweans need to invest in intelligence. Do not field fake people. And some of you, Jaku and I, we shall see you after this space. You'll be fielding these characters as your leaders. You'll be making them your representatives in your agendas and meetings and in your stories. You even quote them when you can clearly see that they are snakes. Snakes put in the way by the enemy, the same way that Munangago was put in the way by the Rhodesia Special Branch. So there you are. I've put the link there, and I've put the documents here. There it is, the SRA. You can see the document there. Julie Conliffe prohibited. Have you seen it? Creative Solutions closed down by the SRA. Study these things. This is your country. Before you deal with Mnangagwa, know what you already have first. Evaluate the assets that you have. This is a high-profile money laundering case. As people are getting their refunds, you're also obtaining what is called case law to remove Mnangagwa. Are you getting it, folks? After this, you don't even need to create noise. You don't even need to go political. You don't even need an election. When a money laundering case has been prosecuted, people don't get this. When a money laundering operation has been prosecuted, successfully prosecuted, and the person has been convicted, and the beneficiary is someone who took over power illegally, it means that through a single conviction, even of as small as £2,000 that was stolen, if that £2,000 was enough, is all that it took to make someone president of a country, you can use that conviction to simply take the keys of State House from that individual without an election, and you don't even need Chiwenga, Dimi Dummy Chiwenga, to use a bullet. No, you've got enough of a bullet there to simply take someone. You just airlift Mnangagwa and you go and leave him in Zwishavane to take care of his Vazukurus. I'm hoping people are getting this stuff. We've invested, some of us have invested years here, over 10 years of researching in this. And folks, that's why I speak like this. And that's why I know that Zimbabweans are way more strategic. Zimbabweans are way more advanced than Mozambicans. Zimbabweans have got an opposition leader in Nelson Chamisa, who is not even an opposition. He is actually a ruling party leader. But unfortunately, Zimbabweans can't see it. I'm not campaigning for Chamisa. Personally, as I've told you, Chamisa is also very weak in the area of intelligence. There are people that he's promoted, people like these ones, the characters that I've mentioned there. He's got a lot of work to do, Chamisa. If he's going to run this also, he needs to work hard. But I'm just trying to show you, our people, that you can't tell me that Chamisa is um, is now out of the Chamisa is now debased. Chamisa is now out of. Come on, with all this that you have, you can't tell me that Chamisa is not powerful simply because you're not seeing him wearing a yellow suit. You can't tell me that because he's achieved. Not of course I'm saying he. It's not he who has achieved. It's you people, our people, Zimbabweans. Some of you, most of you, and those who we have been working with over the years, who have been strengthening our work, contributing here and there. We know that most, if not all of you, are led by Nelson Chamisa. So I'm just talking about it in that sense. When I say Chamisa, it's not because I don't campaign for Chamisa, but I'm just saying, yeah, vanhu vaNelson ava vanonzi vachina ava havasisina chinhu havana party havasi muparliament. Right. Anyway, these are bits and pieces, folks. Chief, do you want to have a 2 minute before we move shot, please?
Of course, I can't believe you woke my sister up, at 4 a.m. because it's around 5 a.m. Where Comfort is, and you started about 2 hours ago. That's not fair. And these good
Oh,
friends in Zimbabwe.
she loves the country too much. This young lady she's extreme. You know her.
I know that. I know that. Yeah, and thank you for the work that you do, Simba. That is sometimes minimized by a lot of people. The period that we are in right now is a period of information. Where information is the king, information is the new money, and we are in a war of information right now, and it's a war that we must win, and it's a war that we have executed, for the longest. I'll join the space that you're going to do later so that issue that we have in Zimbabwe, the 2030 agenda. But just to chime in on what you were saying in the 2 minutes that you have given me, I want to see and I want to urge Zimbabweans to see the 2030 agenda not as something that they can take as a drawback to what we have done, as a drawback to our fight for democracy, but as an opportunity for us to finally remove Emerson Mnangagwa. I think this is the gift that keeps giving that Mnangagwa has given us. If we Zimbabweans, the citizens, let's not put our faith in an individual or in people. That's why I will not even talk about Chiwenga. That is he the right person? Should we be going back? Should we be going to him? We are not going to him. We mustn't go to him. He is not a liberator. Liberators do not exist. The people must liberate themselves. Let's have a platform. Let's have a broad-based platform where we can fight the 2030 agenda. And after we have fought the 2030 agenda, and I know it's a fight that we can win using everything that we have, including these platforms like ZimEye, getting information to the people, letting the people know what they're supposed to be doing. When the referendum comes, the people need to have been educated. The people need to know what is coming and what they are voting for. And that's where the citizens come in. That's where everyone who is here come in. That's where platforms like ZimEye come in. We give the information to the people so that when the time comes, especially those that are going to vote. I vote myself. I always vote. I've always voted. So when it comes down to the referendum, I will also go down to vote. So we want the people to make informed choices. And it's very easy for us to do that. If we do not do that, Simba, because right now as we are doing this, as we fight each other, because that is where we are, sadly, in our politics, we've come to a situation where we are fighting each other, we are fighting people that we shouldn't be fighting, people that we should be on our side. And that's what ZANU-PF has been wanting. They put us in a situation where we are fighting each other more than fighting ZANU-PF. We need Simba to mobilize ourselves so that we can be ready to do what ZANU-PF is doing right now, to do more than what they are doing. Because right now they are doing what we are not doing. They are reaching out. They are talking to people. They are mobilizing. They are putting effort in their agenda for 2030. What are we doing ourselves as citizens? What have we done to make sure that ZANU-PF does not achieve 2030? We need to start doing that right now so that we can organize ourselves as citizens. Of course, we can coalesce, and we have always coalesced against individuals like President Chamisa, because we know that right now he's the only game in town, and it will be good to coalesce around him. But it cannot be his prerogative. It cannot be him who should deliver the freedom that we want. It is us. It is the people of Zimbabwe. And I see 2030 as a good platform, as a good opportunity for us to start doing that, and doing that right now, not to be reactive when ZANU-PF is talking about the referendum. We need to be fighting. We need to be doing what we can right now so that when the referendum comes, we defeat ZANU-PF.
But
we defeated them before. We had another referendum during the time of Dr. Richard Morgan Changirai, and we campaigned and we defeated ZANU-PF. That was the first ever defeat of ZANU-PF, and we can do that right now. Simba, you were saying something?
Yes, I was saying, but Chief, the most important thing that you need to do, don't you agree, is also sniffing out. You need to call out fake people, because you folks, you have accommodated individuals who end up destroying the struggle. You folks, you tolerated Coupe, Achitama in and out, coming in and out since 2017. When you guys could clearly see that this woman is an undercover. Yeah, you tolerated Vana Chavango, well, mainly Coupe, Vana BT, Vana Welshmen, because, and this was all in the spirit of solidarity, because we don't want to fight each other. Chief, Apanda Gadzil.
I understand. We as a
No, what I'm saying is there's you folks, munakumbosiyana nezanu panyaya dzekutadza kweintelligence. Kozi munopromota vanhu vanhu vanozouya vazodestroya vanhu, public inenge yadonata, vanhu vanenge vacontributa, and then later on zvodzokera to square one. You see. So that is what I was just saying, that it's important, don't you think? That this talk yekuti we should not fight whatever. Vanhu ngavafaitwe. Kana Simba Chikanza, no, hold on, Chief. Yeah, if Simba Chikanza pops out here and he starts showing signs that, well, Simba Chikanza is anofanira kutofaitwa Simba Chikanza nokuto expose kunzi Simba Chikanza, why are you doing this? No one should be a sacred cow. Yeah, no, what I'm saying is, Chief, I'm just saying it because you see we are 55 years. Yeah, thank you.
clarify what I was saying before you jump into conclusions.
Thank you.
I understand where we are coming from, where we have come from, and as a movement, we need to take responsibility of the mistakes that we have made as we try to go forward. You must also understand the environment that we work in. Even if tomorrow we come up with a new movement, with the new, those people will always be there. They may not be called Coupe, they may not be called the Welshman noise that we have right now. There will always be other people that will be raised by ZANU-PF. That's the political environment that we are in. But we take what you are saying. But when we say we want people to come together, it's not about the unity of individuals. It's the unity that we have always used, where we have taken civic society, where we have taken civil society, where we have taken all the stakeholders in the country, the students community. The struggle that we have right now, that we are in right now, was started by the students, was started by the civic society, was started by workers' union movements. We are saying we want that broad-based platform and the unity of purpose that we're talking about. We're talking of those key stakeholders. I'm not talking about getting, Monzora out of the political dustbin that he is in, or Komichi or any of those people. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about key stakeholders in our country. When you fight ZANU-PF, you need to be united. There has to be some kind of unity. But I'm not talking about that unity that you are responding to, that we are going to take some people that have sold out before and say, the one that we are fighting with. I'm
you
talking
see,
about key stakeholders,
okay,
like
so
civic society and student communities.
well, the issue is, sorry, you may not have, maybe came late, because what I was actually bringing out today was were weaknesses of any form of resistance against Mnangagwa, including this 2030. And I was analyzing weaknesses of the Chiwenga faction, what they need. And one of the things that I mentioned earlier on was that they cannot make it at present because they've got an extremely weak leader who is in fact the weakest person in Zimbabwe right now, Constantino Chiwenga. And if there's anything that they need to do is to join the Chamisa grouping. That's what I proposed. But the Chamisa grouping is also weak in that they've tolerated characters for a long time, or in almost the same way that ZANU-PF has nursed infiltrators like Mnangagwa for a very long time, who eventually what? And so what I was saying was that if there's anything that's needed here, when some real action is done to work to stop Mnangagwa, an intelligence operation is needed. An intelligence operation here is one where people invest in intelligence and people invest also in robust mechanisms of criticism, right? And these are criticism that should never be construed as fighting anyone, including Nelson Chamisa. If he starts showing signs where things are not clear, he must be robustly criticized so that he can, if he is genuine, he can be equipped and a credible leader who is to take people forward. And so, this biggest weakness of Zimbabwean society of failing to unmask and to call out characters that start manifesting elements of foreign interference or external infiltration, even at a suspect level, has been the greatest problem right now. Traitorism has been the greatest problem, but mainly lack of intelligence mechanisms since Lovengula days. And that needs to change. And so that was generally what we were talking about there. That look, the Chiwenga faction is weak, and I think it's weaker than the Chamisa grouping. Yeah, but that thing because yeah, we've got people who are not happy right now. That why are we here? We've made so much great advancements in the democratic movement, and yet we're not really there. It's like right now we've got some developments here where groupings of other countries like Ukraine, they are busy working out how to attach assets of Russians, which were seized through sanctions. Zimbabweans, you actually have got assets that have been identified and you have been empowered through sanctions, for instance, on gold mafia. But no one is talking about that. Why? It's because people are busy getting distracted by individuals and projects that have been imposed by infiltrators who keep people busy talking nothing and achieving nothing, like talking everything, but achieving nothing, like real substance as to stopping Mnangagwa. And so and that is why we're here. That is why people are here. No one is talking about this. We've managed here to recover this money, over 30 refunds in this 25 million scam, right? But no one is holding a space to coordinate so that more victims get their refunds. And as I was saying before, with each person who is being refunded on this 25 million, Zimbabweans are actually getting power right now to use international tools of removing Mnangagwa, using not politics, but money laundering laws. And money laundering laws are international laws. They are not local laws. They're not laws of America. They're even laws of Zimbabwe. I think people remember here RBZ when the sanctions were put in place in December last year. RBZ rushed to start talking about smuggling. That is when they started saying, oh, we are going to stop smuggling. We are not going to Bait Bridge. We're going to arrest people, because they know that that tag called smuggling is enough to remove Mnangagwa. Once Zimbabwe is known for what it is, a country that is led by a smuggler, it means that anyone from even the smallest island has got power to remove Mnangagwa, actually go and airlift Mnangagwa without a bullet being fired, without any gunpowder being expended. Kungonomubvisa kungoti mudhara tauya ngati takauzokutora, ungonomusiya kuzvichava neukoko, anoita kuretirement, because it's now a country of smugglers. No one is talking about this. Why? It's because the civil society is has been flooded by infiltrators, never very fake people who claim that they're fighting Mnangagwa, and yet all they're doing, they keep people busy on social media, appearing as if they're exposing Mnangagwa, but they're not stopping Mnangagwa, simply TikToking, like the way Nevis Mumbai mentioned him also, that he was an infiltrator. Was just talking azvibatsire chinhu kungotaura kuti Mnangagwa azodai but ukataura panapa zvinhu zvinomuita kuti uchipedza kutaura munhu anogona unotorwa, then we say now you're talking. And I think this is what people want. People want something that brings real substance, something of a change, something that can actually help to transition people, so tomorrow they wake up on the other side of the bed, in a different country or in a different a form of leadership. I think this is what this session was about, and I'm hoping that we kind of bringing a bit of scope and direction to it, folks. And we have people on this news network who have demonstrated for a very long time passion and love for their country. They want change, and they've asked us to research. And over the time, we've worked to hire some of the best solicitors on earth to help our people. And these are the people who have been extremely useful, extremely helpful in the investigations that we've done, including Gold Mafia, and so we're hoping that all this amounts to exactly what is people's greatest desire here, the achievement of change, the achievement yechange yekutogadzirwa zvinhu zvese zvobva mangwana totoziva kuti tatochinja, nokwete kumirira Chiwenga, someone who was called Dunderhead by one of the mafias, right? Kuti akubvisirei Mnangagwa iwa munobvisa mega. Right, folks, it's been great chatting. I'm going to do a space in about 4 hours from now. I need to dash off, get onto the road, and then if we can connect, later on, I've got the link here for the space tonight. The link is the time is going to be it should be 6 o'clock. I actually think it should be 6 o'clock that I do the space that is going to discuss the Mozambique vis-a-vis Zimbabwe community, comparison and how people can make things better. So where is the link here? I think I shared it earlier on. Yes, so it's 6 p.m. British time. I'm gonna put the link here. Can people subscribe? I think so far, how many people have subscribed to that? I can't see. It doesn't say. It doesn't tell me. But I think it will tell me when I log in. If people got the link now. My battery link. If you click the link, let's catch up at 6 p.m. Comfort is the link in there at the top. Comfort.
Yes. Yep. Let me see.
Zimbabweans weaker. Yeah.
The law. Zimbabwe's Law Society. Yeah, it's there.
No.
The other one.
Apana yakanzi a set a reminder for our upcoming space. Are Zimbabweans weaker than Mozambique? Yes,
you might need to refresh. I think you might need to refresh because there's the Zimbabwe Law Society one still.
Oh, sorry. I've just retweeted anyway on this space on the Zimai Twitter account. It's called "Are Zimbabweans weaker than Mozambicans?" So if people can, oh yeah, I'm gonna share it in the comments area. Please let's click this link, folks. Yakanzi space EOU space Yakanzi. I think it's there now. That space Yakanzi. Yeah, are Zimbabweans weaker than Mozambicans, and how can things be made better? I think people have got the link now. Do they? Yes. Set a reminder. Yashikaka, set a reminder for our upcoming space. Is it there now? I think it's there now, Comfort. So people can click.
Checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, please let's subscribe. So let's catch up at 6 p.m. British time in 5 hours, exactly 5 hours from now. We're gonna start the space. And we do what we can to help our people. Abantu Zimbabwe. Right. So quickly, I'm gonna be shutting now. I'm gonna be playing the video. Signor Tombo, kata kato button na 6. I just want to get on the road.
Mine is just a question eye opener.
Oh, a question.
What do you think is the beneficiary of the 23rd guideline? Certainly not ED.
Oh, you think it's not ED?
What do you think is the?
I think that's that thing. Let's catch up with that one. Let's keep that one at the back of our minds. That question for 6 o'clock, please.
I just wanted to point it.
Oh, thank you. We've picked it, Senor. Yeah.
And the beneficiary 2030.
Wow.
Food for that.
Oh, thank you very much. That's quite interesting. I see mom's there. Mom's the intelligence operative guy. Akisiria is an intelligence operative. Yeah, pakaipa. Right, folks, we're gonna shut. Thank you. Thanks, Chief, Signoro, Comfort, everyone else who's contributed. Thank you very much. Let's catch up, please. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Powell, tell us, what are we looking at right now?
We're looking at the news that we received about the update regarding Julie's case. And so the update is that her company, her solicitors company, being closed. The Creative Legal Solutions Solicitors Ltd.
Actually closed, literally closed.
Yeah, was closed by the Solicitors Board. So, of course, they believed that there was enough evidence to show that they have to protect the public. So they closed the company. And also this update on Julie's investigation. And now the record is public, is on the website, on the Solicitors
So this is case number 26 out of the refunds, and we're just hearing this morning that a refund has been made. Have you found it?
Are you from Northampton? Hi.
How many years have you waited?
3 years.
3 years. And how does it feel?
I'm so happy.
Yeah?
I'm so happy. And thank you very much, Simba, for all your help. Thank you so much.
Wow. And you found the reference now. Thank you.
Yes, I did.
How much more is left?
About 45,000.
45,000 is left.
Yeah.
So far they refunded? How much?
About 3,000.
3,000. And that's what you had deposited transferred into her account?
Yeah.
Right. Wow. What's your message to other women who are still to get their refunds?
Keep on pushing. Keep on pushing. Don't lose hope. And listen to Simba, please. And Bud Ezra. Listen and follow all their instructions. We'll get victory.
Wow.
The descendants of the great pharaohs are clearly now rising to take over the world. The Americans have CNN, the British, BBC, the Asians have Al Jazeera, the Germans have DW. Where is the great pharaoh's own news network? Where's the great eagle's eye? It is here. It has come alive, finally. And even now, as I look at this instant reversal previously impossible, I know that this is just the beginning. There is clearly so much more in store for us if we were willing to invest in ourselves. Let's invest in ZIMI, our own network, the Black Pharaohs News Network, the People's Eye, the ZIMI.
Watch your windows, stay empty and dirty. Profit voice trembling with dread. See my bitch me daily. He said, none around. Watch your windows, stay empty and dirty. Profit voice trembling with dread. See my bitch me daily. He said, none around. Watch your windows, stay empty and dirty. Profit voice trembling with dread. See my bitch me daily. She said, none around. Trembling with dread. See my bitch me daily. She said, none around. Watch your windows, stay empty and dirty. Prophet's voice trembling with dread. See my bitch me daily. She said, none around. Watch your windows, stay empty and dirty. Prophet's voice trembling with dread. See my none around. Watch your windows, stay empty and dirty. Prophet's voice trembling with dread. See my bitch me daily. He said, none around. Watch your windows, stay empty and dirty. Prophet's voice trembling with dread. See my bitch me daily. He said, none around. Watch your windows, stay empty and dirty. Prophet's voice trembling.
This is Zimai Media, broadcasting all around the world, on the spot, on the dot.